All right, now we have our boards ready to use. Let's take a look at the plans here. All right, we have our cut list. Just whack the nice freshly planed boards on everything.
If you haven't watched the Breadbox Part 1, I do recommend watching it. It was my first attempt at milling up rough lumber, and I think it turned out pretty good. Not sure why, but my microphone decided it wasn't going to record sound here. I'm just cutting these boards down to meet what's needed on the build sheet.
Forgot about this little crack in the wood, so I'll have to recut that piece, but glad I cut it now. Well, we've got all the pieces cut out, and I've laid them out according to the cut sheet. So let's look into how to build this. At the front and back sideboards, drill pocket holes along the edge of the back sideboard, hitting the top of the board, so 45-degree angle. Cut front and back sideboards. Two side back, two side front. This board and this board. All right, well, I found a mistake. So when I cut the 5.5 inch wide board, I didn't cut the end of the board off square, so I have a rough edge first, but it's also not square. The shorter side is way too short, so luckily I have some left over, so I'm going to cut this piece down and replace this board. All right, well, these instructions aren't very clear on how to assemble the sides. It says to drill pocket hole screws along the edge of the back sideboard, cut the front one with a 45-degree angle, and then use glue and pocket screws. But it doesn't tell you really where to put the holes exactly, so I'm going to have to just look at the pictures and sort it out on my own. So it looks like the 45 is going to go from the top corner of the smaller board down, and then we're going to put pocket hole screws from the bigger board into the smaller board. So we want to make sure we mirror the image so that the pocket holes are on the inside when we're completed on both sides, and we don't have pocket holes on the outside. So first thing I'm going to do is mark off the 45-degree angle, just so I have an idea of where it's going to be. Doesn't tell me how many pocket holes to drill, so I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do an inch from the top, an inch from the bottom, and then 1 in the center. Well, it's day 2 of the build. I spent the rest of yesterday over at a U-Pick farm with the kids picking strawberries. So today we're back at it making the bread box. So next step in the instructions say to router a groove on the inside of the assembled side pieces. It's a 1/4 inch deep, 3/4 thick. The top of the groove should start at the end of the angle on the front board. So that's going to be for the cutting board. So I've drawn the lines on there, and we're going to router a groove in there. I've never routed a groove before, so I went and bought a bit, and we're going to give this a try. So let's see what happens.
Well, this should have been a simple setup. It took me forever to figure it out. Bear with me, I figured it out eventually.
I'm sure there's a measurement that tells you exactly how far away to put this for doing this type of a route, but I don't know what it is. All right, here goes nothing. Well, I think that turned out pretty good. It's not perfect. It's got a couple little chips in it. I'm not sure that I'm using the correct bit for what I was trying to do. This side turned out a lot better. I may have rushed this side a little bit more, but the grooves line up and they're the right size. Just a little bit of slop on both sides, and I'm okay with that. So cutting board should slide right in. The only thing I screwed up on is I wasn't supposed to go all the way to the back. I was supposed to stop so that when you put the back on, you don't see the groove on the back side. So it's funny because the instructions say the same thing. The guy who made it messed up and routed all the way to the back. So what he did and what I'm going to probably do is cut off a little piece off of the scrap and just make a little piece that goes there. So there's not a hole there. But if that's my biggest mistake on this one, which it is so far, I'm okay with that. So well, let's move on to the next step. All right, while that dries, I'm going to assemble the bottom and the sides. So the bottom is a 5.5 by 14 and a 3.5 by 14.
This looks like a perfect time to ask you to hit that like and subscribe button. That way you get notifications anytime I release a new video. Seems like there's a lot of different beliefs out there when you're doing a glue up of whether you do one side or both sides. I've tried it both ways and haven't really been able to tell a difference yet, but I'm curious what you think. Leave in the comments which way you think is best.
All right, so that's my back, my bottom, my two sides. This is going to be the top. Picture is not very clear on what the back looks like, but from the measurements, it appears the back piece sits on the top, on the bottom, and then the side measures 9 inches, and that's 9 inches. So I would assume it's going to go all the way to the bottom, and that's the same height. So it does look like that's correct. So this piece on the bottom is going to screw to the sides. This is going to screw to the bottom. This is also going to screw to the side. That's going to go to the top. I think I'm happy with that. I didn't want to overlap, but I did. And it looks okay. It's going to be inside. You won't see it from the outside. And then the side panels go here, so that screws on there, that screws there, this screws to the top. So all that's left for pocket holes, I need to drill holes in the side pieces that go up into the top. And then those are ready to sand. That's ready to sand. These guys should be ready to cut. My mother-in-law bought me a Japanese pull saw last year for Christmas, so I've used it on a couple little projects, but I'm excited to use it on real wood. It's always been pine projects because that's all I've done before. So let's see how it does here. Got a few marks on the wood, but luckily I haven't sanded yet, so just a little bit of marks there. I think it'll come out when I sand. It's inside the back where you're not going to see it because that's where the back wall is. But I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but I'm pretty happy with that. All right, that one needs hole saws. Hole saws needs pocket holes drilled. Not perfect, but it looks pretty good. I'm sure you saw me mess up on that one. I drilled this hole here and didn't take into account that there was a screw here and hit the screw. Luckily I didn't break my bit, but I had to re-drill a hole next to it. You won't really see it inside. There's not really an easy fix for it, so I'm not going to fix it. This is what the new one looks like on the other side. That's what this looks like here. I should have not drilled that hole. So I'm going to test fit everything real quick, and it's time to sand. My favorite part. So that's the top, back. That's the bottom. This is the back. It sits on top. This is the side. This is the side. This will be the top. Which are supposed to hang over slightly according to the plans. These pieces are going to be the door, and these pieces are going to be the cutting board. The cutting board will slide right into here. There'll be a door, and then this door will have a window, and then this door will just be plexiglass. So it's starting to look like a bread box. Part of this bread box has a removable shelf that doubles as a cutting board. And I'd ordered a box of wood online just to have some variety, and it didn't come in until today. So this is the pieces I had cut out of the mahogany to make the cutting board. And today I received in a box, I picked out a couple of colors of wood that I like. So don't exactly know what species they are. There's a variety in the box, but I think they look good. So what I'm planning to do is take these out, cut these down to fit, and that'll be our cutting board shelf. I'm leaving the mahogany on the outside, so when you slide it into the bread box, it matches. From the outside, you'll see the mahogany, but when you pull it out, you'll see the nice cutting board. So got to trim this wood down a little to make it straight, and I can glue it up today. So I think that's what we're going to work on today. We'll get that glued up, and then try and get some sanding done on the box, and see how much time I have before work tonight. So
I found this set of corner clamps on Amazon, and they work great for projects like this. If you're doing anything that has a 90-degree angle on it, I highly recommend getting a set. I'm not sure why my microphone didn't turn on here, but it gives me an opportunity to let you know I just started a page on X, and would love it if you stop by and follow the page. I'll be posting pictures and videos there as well, and would love to see you there. If you're curious about these blocks that I use in just about every project, they were a first attempt for a gift from my sister. They didn't turn out so well, so I remade them with another set of blocks, and these turned into a set of blocks to use around the workshop, and they come in handy all the time.
Time to cut the cutting board down to make it fit inside the bread box. So the edge on this side is pretty smooth. I'm going to end up trimming that as well. So I'll cut that first, and then I'm going to cut this side to fit the length. So let's measure this up. 14 5/8. Got a piece of scrap wood. This was cut originally to be the cutting board. It measures 14 1/2. It's a little snug in the back. Perfect in the front. That's our perfect fit right there. All right, after messing with it for a few minutes on the chop saw, I decided it'd be smarter to make this cut on the table saw. Pretty happy with that measurement. So let's see if it fits in the bread box. Woohoo! That's looking really good. And this isn't a plunge router, but can I plunge it in like that? For you folks at home, I think that turned out pretty good. We are back to the how are we going to assemble the door. And I don't want to use pocket screws like the instructions say. I kind of like the idea of just drilling a hole through the side, countersinking a screw, calling it done. Get a nice stainless screw, put it up a little high so it doesn't go near the glass. There's plenty of meat right there to go through. I kind of like that idea. And then all you have, I can always plug it, but I don't have a plug cutter yet to cut it with the same wood. But we countersink it and it's flush. The only time you're going to see it's when the door is open, and you're not going to have a pocket hole right here. I love pocket holes. Craig, I like your plans. Well, plans could use a little work, but I like the final product. But I don't like the idea of having a visible pocket hole right here where breadcrumbs are going to get in and things like that. So we're modifying these plans. We purchased this cheap countersinking kit on Amazon. It works pretty good. this way. That was simple. Safety glasses are on. Fence is locked. Clear off the table saw just in case.
This was my first time cutting plexiglass. I watched quite a few YouTube videos on how to do it and found one in particular was very helpful. I'll put a link to it in the description.
We have a door with glass in it. According to the instructions, the top flap is 15 inches by 5 inches wide. So 15 inches, we put it in about a quarter on each side. I don't like that. So we're going to do 15 and 9/16. This is 5 inches tall. Yep, 5 inches tall. With the hinge, I do like that. All right. Now, in order to grab it, is either going to put a knob on it, which wouldn't look bad. Putting a knob here and a knob here. But then you got to hold it like this to get to it. So I was thinking making a little piece of plexiglass that comes out a little so you could walk up and grab that, slide the tray out with your bread on it. Versus grab a knob. The knob would look nice too, though. I bought 2 knobs. You'd have one there, which looks really good. That doesn't look bad. One there, one there. Nope, I like that. Getting a knob. Glad we had this little talk. All right, so that piece is cut wrong because I'm stupid. And I think I'm going to pre-drill the holes so I don't have any chance of cracking this, or less of a chance of cracking it, I guess I should say. So I think we're going to take the glass out, set that aside so we don't scratch it up. when we took it apart and sanded the door, we lost all the numbers, the markings, so that we knew where things went. So we're just gonna put some tape on it. So we know where everything goes. Okay, we're gonna call this the left side, right side, top side, bottom side. That way all the screw holes line back up when we go to put it together. I decided not to put RTV. I was going to put clear RTV in the groove with the glass to make sure it doesn't rattle or anything. And after test fitting it and seeing it fits pretty good, I decided to not do that. Hopefully I don't regret that decision. Let's see how well this goes in. It's like we knew what we were doing. We know it's not true, but it's like that. All that work and then you drop it. Very smooth. That difference. It's amazing. A little snug. Thinking maybe just take the router and go around the inside edge. And that would put a little bevel on it right here. So when you shut the door, it would push up on the cutting board just that smidge that it needs. So that's going to be the plan. That solved the problem. So, rubs a little. I'm totally okay with that. The bread box is done. I think it turned out pretty good. Everything works really well, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I think the wife will love it. Can't wait to give it to her for Christmas. Um, Learned quite a bit of things. I've never done a cutting board before, so that turned out really well. Never cut a groove in the wood for glass like that before, so not sure that I did that correct, but it turned out really good. So I'm happy with that. Um, if I ever built this one again, I think the things I would change is I would do a glue up on the sides and the back instead of using pocket screws to hold the boards together. That would just eliminate some of the holes inside the bread box. I'd still use the pocket screws to hold the assembly together, like the bottom and the top and such. But the boards themselves, I think I would glue those up. As far as the plans go, they were a little hard to make out. Could have used more pictures, a little more description of how to put things together, but I was able to figure it out. So in the end, I'm pretty happy with it. So Hope you enjoyed the video and look forward to seeing you in the next one.